welcome. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to Walking a Mile with Max. This is my new podcast, my new series here on my YouTube channel, the one and only MSJ. So, how this podcast came about, this is going to be kind of a quick introductory episode where I talk about what led to this and what things I've done in the past to try to do this. But I've had a trip to the emergency room a few days prior to, as I'm right now talking, and it was for breathing issues, and I was a little scared, to be honest with you, so I immediately went home, kind of started to revamp everything, kind of figure out what needed to be done, what needed to be changed, what had to go, what had to stay, stuff like that, just really making a solid change. And I think this is a nice step in the direction when I do this podcast. I'm just going to be walking a mile. I'm currently halfway through mile 3 as of this recording, so it's just having some fun right now while I do this last half mile of this track. So hopefully by the end of this podcast series, I will be less out of breath, in shape, kind of feeling more positive about myself, all kinds of other things, and just having overall a better outlook on things. So, because I will admit, when I was having my breathing issues, I was kind of frustrated and worried and scared and everything in between, and just things weren't going my way in terms of that. So I needed a break. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just take my chance and go to the ER and just better be safe than sorry, kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I did. Had an EKG for the first time, blood work for the first time. Not for the first time, but serious blood work for the first time. Trying to think what else. Just it was just a whole new experience that I do not want to go through again, and this is my way of kind of holding myself accountable to stay creating content, talking about the stuff that I love, books, games, movies, especially movies. So that's what mainly this podcast is going to be. I'm going to hopefully in the future, hopefully with the next few episodes, I'll have a little bit more of a structured way of doing this. This is just kind of very off the cuff, kind of impromptu kind of thing going on. So and that's really about it. I just really hope this podcast, this is kind of like me speaking to future Max, saying I really hope this really works, and because if I really kind of create a nice schedule and new eating habit, which I've already began, I've already started to feel a lot better. Physically and mentally, just in these last few days of being off work, and just kind of retooling my surroundings, especially my basement where I would normally be filming this podcast or recording this podcast. So it just needs to be done. Okay. And so since I don't have the best of audio equipment, you will probably hear a lot of natural sounds, cars driving by, people on bikes, people running. So and plus I think it'd be a nice little sets the mood for this especially where maybe kind of gives us a little bit of nature sounds, a little bit more ambiance to the podcast, I guess. A natural soundtrack, I should say. So, what I'm getting ready for this month is my 31 Days of Fright horror movie project. Well, I'm kind of revamping it. I kind of dropped the movie project the last couple of years. It's just been the 31 Days of Fright, where I would watch a different horror movie for each of the days in October. And this month, for October, I am doing Tales from the Crypt, which is a TV show that first aired on HBO. So I can't wait to do that and be very different from what I'm used to be doing. So I'm looking forward. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to be doing everything. Like, there's like 93 some episodes of the show in only 31 days and 7 seasons. So I'm trying to figure out how to evenly space it out, try to get a few episodes from each season, give each season kind of its due. So making sure that I can actually kind of see where the show started from and where the show ended, in terms of like quality. Because sometimes it may dip in quality in the later seasons. Which that would be a nice topic about in future podcasts, like TV shows that I thought might have dipped quality in the later seasons. I'm looking at you, Under the Dome, or Hemlock Grove. I think I talked about those in past podcasts, but I'll kind of go in a little bit more detail here on Walking a Mile with Max. So, I've already think this is a great idea. I know no one may never listen to this, but at least I'll have it for record's sake and for future Max to go back and listen to if I actually happen to stick with this, which I believe I will. I feel very good and I want to keep this up. I mean, my body is changing. I'm 31 years old. It's different now. Even though I'm still able to do quite a bit of what I'm still able to do, but I just need to be able to shed some of this weight and keep up with what I'm able to do a little bit better. That's all I'm really trying to do. And I actually started walking the day before. I just walked a single mile. I took the puggle Remy for a walk. He needed to get out and I needed to get out, so it was perfect. And I may have to pause due to lawnmower. And I'm back. Probably one of the things that go along with this podcast is that you'll hear a lot of background noise and things like that, which I will try my best to cut out, but it's just some things are just hard to do. So I'm pretty, like I mentioned, I think I mentioned at the beginning, is I'm used to walking due to my job. I unload semis and stock and stuff, mainly pop and water, so I'm active, but my eating habit is not very good at all. And so I've been off for almost 4 days as of this recording podcast, and I've, like I mentioned, and I'm going to kind of repeat myself here in a minute, but I've totally revamped my eating habits. I do feel better, so that's really about it. I just wanted to kind of make this quick first introductory podcast to this and kind of give a brief thing or brief description of what to expect and what I'm wanting to accomplish with this podcast and everything. So thank you. Please click subscribe, hit the like button, stay notified, hit the bell, stay notified for any future videos, and follow me on everything. I think my Twitter, everything is the one and only MSJ. It's pretty easy to remember. Twitter, Instagram. I think that's everything. So, thank you. As always, my name is the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and thank you.